Welcome back to Banditland Boulevard. Another post-game reaction, this time coming in week 13 against the Halifax Thunderbirds with seemingly half the lineup out. Buffalo Bandits come in and win 10-9. They have won 5 games in a row, extending undefeated February into undefeated March. Tony, how's it going, bro?
Hey, can't complain about how they've been playing lately, especially with the fast start from good old number 4, Ian
Oh,
McKay with a
man.
natural Hattie to kick it off for the Buffalo Bandits to go pretty well in the first quarter alone, shutting down Halifax and defensively playing smart. And then it just got a little shaky. They had a 4-goal run, then we finally came back to tie it 4-4, and then they took the lead at the half. But still, honestly, you called it like it was. It was going to be the better of the two defenses and who was going to lock up the win. And boy, oh boy, did we lock up that win, much needed win, especially how good Toronto and Rochester have been playing. But again, 9-2, can't complain.
Insane. I mean, top of the Eastern Division. You got the Toronto game tonight. We are recording this on a Monday night. So you got Toronto and Philadelphia tonight. We'll see how that turns out.
Yep.
The Nighthawks losing to the Rock 9-8, I believe the score was on Saturday.
That is
so
correct.
we're tied at the top of the Eastern Division, which is okay. But we really just hope Philadelphia can pull through tonight.
Absolutely.
But the Bandits themselves, despite all the injuries, are controlling their own destiny, which is absolutely what we asked from them to do. And I mean, you saw it. You saw the offensive production. Maybe not the ones you might expect from a guy like Brad McCulley. We didn't really see him on the scoring sheet that much. But if you were to tell me no Josh Byrne, no Brandon Robinson, no Brad McCulley, that we'd be competitive, I would say you're absolutely insane. But they scored 10 goals, starting off with an Ian McKay natural hat trick in the first quarter.
Yeah, unbelievable that number 4 has really stepped up. And thankfully, that concussion protocol said he was cleared to play. He got back out in the field and he didn't look like he missed a beat out there with the guys. And boy, that's something. Like, he's turned into an absolute stud. When we had the episode with Joe Shuby and his son,
oh yeah, he's a beast.
Right.
Yep.
Ian McKay is just an absolute stud on this team, and he has really proven it time and time again. He can play any position out there, and he has really proven it's getting 5 total points. Obviously, the natural hat trick, and then 2 apples to clear up the game for the rest of the game. I cannot praise this number 4 enough. He's like our Stainhouse right now. He's just going. He is really going.
He is our go-to transition that shoots the ball from the restraining line and shoots from everywhere. I like that. He is kind of the modern-day Mark Stainhouse. You also can't forget the production, the tying goal and the go-ahead goal by Mr. 92, Dane Smith. The great Dane, absolutely ice in the veins. He's clutch when he has to be. He got himself a Hattie as well.
Yeah, Dane Smith really proved it. He didn't even have to worry about it until the very end. I mean, yes, he had his opportunities. He had 14 total shots on goal. And yes, according to the bounce shots he tried to do, he tried to mix things up. He wasn't trying to go straight at like the goaltender or even up high in the corners. He wasn't doing it. He was really making sure that Hill kind of like got the sense of saying, I have to guess what he's going to shoot. And that's exactly the mindset Dane Smith puts on board, especially every game he goes onto the floor with the boys.
Yeah, he was shooting a lot for that low left side, excuse me, in that first quarter. And it was sort of giving Hill like a false sense of confidence because you know that Dane Smith can change his style of shot at any point. So he decided in the third quarter maybe try over the top, maybe try an underhand, maybe try different things, and it ended up working. At the time, we tied the game and we took the go-ahead lead. Can we talk about the go-ahead goal, the ESPN SportsCenter top 10 from Tehoka Nanticoke? I remember one of us saying that he's got to step it up because, he's been in that sophomore slump this season. And granted, yeah, he's been injured at least a couple times this year, which if you're talking about the 2023 Bandits roster, who hasn't been injured as of right now. But Tehoka behind the back, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. That goal has to be at least a TSN because that game was on TSN. TSN, SportsCenter, ESPN, top 10 goal. Hill didn't even see it till it was right behind him.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, too, with the defenseman on him, and he just played it out perfectly. What he did was he cut through to the middle and drawing the defenseman towards him, and then as soon as that happened, while Hill looked like he was going to go shoot low, you expect them to shoot low on positions like that, but he stayed up high. He went behind the back and just top, like you said, top shelf, right above his shoulder, above his mask, and before he could react, the ball was already behind him, and it was like too late. You
Didn't even
just
see it.
scored.
Didn't even see it.
And it was unbelievable how the good hand-eye coordination that Tehoka has, especially during times like that. I mean, he's created so many multiple goals so far in his 2 years he's actually played with the Bandits so far. And amazingly how, yeah, he only got 2 points. He only got a goal and an assist to capped off the night. But again, when he's needed to score, he matters, especially with the fact of not putting so much weight on 92 shoulders with the guys out that are missing.
Yeah, and you gotta hope that this is gonna be a confidence boost for Tehoka too.
Absolutely.
He's gotten a lot of assists, a decent amount of assists, but last year he was that sniper goal scorer. Now in his sophomore year, there's more tape on him, there's more film on him. Teams know how to defend him better. But hopefully this is a confidence boost for him to turn into that sniper that he's going to be in his future career with the Buffalo Bandits, and hopefully a future champion with the Bandits too, because we still got to get Dane Smith that title, and Chase Frazier, and Josh Byrne and Tehoka and Weiser, all those other guys, Ian McKay especially, give them that chip, because I think if they just get that one, it's going to spark that dynasty, and it's going to be players like Tehoka that bring him to that promised land. So hopefully that's going to be a confidence boost for him. Let's start off with the way this game was. It was weird because we kind of expected, I hate to use the word anemic offense, but or those two words together, but you can't even like, I'm sorry, but when the injury report looks the way it looks, and I mean that's the only way to describe it. They went on a 3-0 run in the beginning. All 3 goals scored by Quattro in Ian McKay, but after that we're seeing shots like we're seeing 2022 Bandit stuff, like where they would work the ball for 28 seconds and then have to take a desperation shot with 2 seconds. And I'm like, do you blame that on injuries, or are they just trying to kill time up by 3 goals for whatever reason? But we're not sure, because they were down 5-4 at half. And I'm thinking to myself, why does this offense look so anemic? You could talk about the injury report, but you can also talk about the overall cycle of the ball. I know that we keep going back to this, but Delby Powell said it best. Our lack of using the backyard lacrosse technique, where it's this fast-paced passing and shooting when you're the most open player that you can, giving yourself enough time to wind up, shoot the ball without getting a 30-second clock violation. It was stuff like that we really didn't see from the Bandits this year. But at the same point, it really didn't seem to affect them too much because, obviously look at the score, look at the injury report, the fact that the Buffalo Bandits could even still stay competitive. And not just that, but win the game by a goal. Actions speak louder than any words that I'm saying to you right now. This team is loaded. This team is great. They always pick one quarter where they're not that great, and it is a game of runs. They chose the second quarter, but third and fourth quarter, they came out swinging, and they swung for the fences. They won 10-9.
Yeah, especially how you were putting it out. Maybe they had the fast start. They kind of wanted to slow down in a way after what we have saw, with their 5 goals to our, I believe just 1 goal in the second quarter.
5-1.
And we can't really expect them to really post a first half blowout like most teams would want to do and waste their energy. Maybe what Johnny Tavares was trying to do, especially in the second half, because like we've said before, they have really become the second half most dangerous team in the league.
The Cardiac Bandits, yep.
Exactly. Like they've used their inner strength to say, okay, we've used our energy for so-and-so half. Now we just put the foot on the gas pedal in the second half and we don't look back. But again, we were tied 8-8 after the third, but then we boosted ourselves in the fourth because we had the conditioning to do so. And so I think that's what Johnny T was trying to do.
Absolutely. And a goal from Dylan Robinson. That was kind of unexpected. So it's great to see that secondary scoring. Not to mention, Matt Vince didn't give up his first goal until the 18th minute of the game. I mean, he was playing lights out in that first quarter. The defense kind of stepped off the gas a little bit, letting guys like Benny and Jameson, who we told you were going to get open. You get them open, they're going to score goals every time, and they did. I think at the point when it was 8-8 going into the fourth, Jameson and Benesh I think
Mm-hmm.
they credited for 5 out of the 8 goals that were scored before that 3rd quarter. And I was like,
Absolutely.
"Damn it, I told you guys, cover them, because if you cover them, they're not winning." And obviously Austin Shanks scoring that first goal, it's hard to stop that guy too, and I think we forgot to mention him in the pregame, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was the Benny Jameson show. Then the 4th quarter came around and we stoned one of them cold, I think, with 21 seconds to go. They got one last possession plus an empty netter. Ryan Benesh
Yeah.
was the extra attacker. I don't think they fed him the ball, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
lousy shot that Matt Vince didn't even have to move to make the save. Made the
Right.
stop, and then Ian McKay killed off 15 seconds in the offensive zone to win the game 10-9. I mean, it was great. And Matt Vince, we got to give him a huge credit for that game. He made some
Hell
pretty
yeah.
big saves, especially in that first quarter. He has a, if he has a rough first quarter, we're looking at a 9-3 record, and we're probably out of first place. So you got to give him so much credit for holding it down in that first quarter.
Yeah, you want to talk about goaltenders that still got it. I think Matt Vince has proven it time and time again. Doesn't matter what team that boy or that man's on, honestly, because he's been proving to be one of the best in the league, especially having a 43 save night and still keeping it under 10 goals against average against Halifax, especially how
At
stacked
his
they were.
age, at his
At
age,
his age, especially. And on top of it, too, we got to give credit where credit is due. He is now, I think, the most games played as a goaltender in
yeah,
the league now.
he
He has
passed. Was it?
262.
I think he passed what Dallas Elliott and Pat O'Toole, I
Yeah.
think, for that
So
record.
what
So
does
that's
that
pretty
tell you
good.
about this guy? This guy is like a brick wall. When he's on, and there's no passing him. And the way how he was playing, especially how our defense has been solid, it's just you credit to the defense for keeping them at bay for you to see the shots that you need to and to become the best goaltender that you are. And again, this proves it why he's the best
Yeah.
in the game.
You also got to give credit to the Bandit fans that fought a snowstorm and still made the
Mm-hmm.
trip up to Halifax. That just shows you how loyal the fan base is. Risking something bad happening to watch the
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo Bandits and support those boys and to watch a win. I mean, they definitely deserve it all because the Bandits they have the best fan base in the entire National Lacrosse League, and that goes
Absolutely.
without saying. But huge gritty win, gutsy win. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, that just shows you the depth that we have on this team, the defense that we are capable of having. And once again, we don't even have Frank Brown back. We don't
Nope.
have Chase Frazier. We don't
Not
have
yet.
Josh
Next
Byrne.
week, though.
Next week, though,
Next week,
Chris
though.
Kluche, we don't have him.
Nope.
I mean, we came off a week where we beat a team in overtime without Dalton Sulver, Ethan O'Connor, Josh Byrne. I mean, we are the absolute cardiac bandits. And
Mm-hmm.
this team last year, I thought that was the best team that we've seen since '08. I might be second guessing myself because that team last year, not the way they were coached, but the way that they played
Yep.
was a lot different from what it is now. It was in your face. We're gonna get up in the lead first and hold on to it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
If they had to play from behind, it took an act from God for them to come back. I mean, you
Right.
saw that 18-17 overtime game against the
New York
Riptide
Riptide.
last year. The 15-9 blowout against the Riptide last year at home, where we got down 5-0 in that game early, and we just didn't find the
Yes.
light at the end of that tunnel. And then we had to pull Vince out of the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That game was all bad, but this team plays better under pressure and when they're losing. I don't know what it is about it, and they have half their freaking starters out.
Yeah, it's the spark that they've been looking for. And you know what? Maybe it is a change of pace that Johnny Tavares is doing. What he's trying to do is now saying, guys, this is what killed us last year in the finals, especially with being gassed out early and not like taking the necessary, time and conditioning to be prepared for a full game. And what they're doing is they're playing very smartly. They're using enough energy to get a read on their opponents in the first half. And then when they do, the second half is we know their game plan, we know what to do when it happens, and then we put the pedal to the metal and score the goals when we need to. And my God, have they proven it time and time again. It doesn't matter if you have every single starter on this roster for the Buffalo Bandits. Depth is key in this league, and they proved it so far for the last 7 games now. It's unreal what they're doing. And you know what? I don't want to say anything to burden the outcome of this season, but it's looking promising right now,
It is.
especially how they've been playing every single game.
It definitely is. And you can say the Bandits swept their way through the month
Mm-hmm.
of February with an
Yes.
exhibition with an exhibition preseason roster, which is
Yes.
absolutely scary to the rest of the league.
It's sick. It's absolutely grotesque. It's like, what do you do when you look and you got to be like, oh crap, we got to play the Bandits this week? Then it's like you don't know what to do.
I mean,
It's
this is the Buffalo Bandits early December roster when they're playing exhibition games
exactly,
at the Harbor Center. Like,
exactly.
this is that roster. And the fact that they're sweeping teams with their full lineup,
Mm.
it's absolutely crazy. The last time they lost a game was when we were in Rochester. That
That
was
was
the
it.
last time they lost a game. And then
5 weeks.
the time before that was go back 12 weeks ago. Week 1
Mm-hmm.
was the
Yeah,
last time.
against.
Yeah. Against Albany,
Oh,
who,
I'm
by the
still
way,
grinding my teeth of that loss.
I still think we should have won that game because the Georgia Swarm came in last week and beat them 20 to freaking 4. So,
Yeah,
I
that was
mean,
disgusting.
you know what? We'll see what happens with them. I don't really look at Albany as a huge threat. I think you got to look at the top 3 in the Eastern Conference. Those are the ones that are going to make that push to the cup. The
Yep.
Bandits, the Rock, and the Nighthawks.
And the Nighthawks.
The Nighthawks there has been, I have no idea what's been going on with that offense, but man, it's been slumping and slumping hard. I think over the last couple of games, they've scored maybe 19 goals in the last 2 games, something like that. They scored 8 on Saturday, and
Yeah.
they just haven't looked like the same team. I think teams are starting to figure them out, and that's good for us.
Yes.
We just hope that outcome never happens to the Buffalo Bandits. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think we should get into our players of the game.
Sure.
And
Why don't you start us off with that?
player of the game to go up 9-8, the one that really put the nail in that coffin. Underrated. I could always throw out a Dane Smith. I could always throw an Ian McKay out there, but I'm going with Tehoka Nanticoke. He's probably one of my favorite players on the team right now. And if he doesn't score that goal, who knows how the game ends? But I think the way that he scored that goal, the way the goal was scored, really just set the tone that said, yeah, you're not beating us tonight. Sorry. Sorry, Halifax, but sorry, Billy D. Sorry, Micah Kersey. You're not beating us tonight.
Yeah, Taoka has been proven it time and time again. He gets beat up a lot during each and every single game.
Oh, he gets whacked all the time.
I'm just surprised the man
Yep.
is still standing after every game. It's just he really puts himself out there. He puts himself in dangerous situations that it's like, oh God, here goes a hit to the face or anything like that while he's putting the pressure on. It's like that guy is so tough at what he does. And
He gets
yes,
whacked
of course,
in double coverage by all different kinds of sticks that come his way. I mean,
it's like you kind of want to
insane.
hold your breath and like be careful for his life, because every time he goes into a danger zone, it's like, oh God, is he gonna hurt himself again? It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
how do
I
you
don't
think
wanna
he
do
got?
it.
How do you think he got that upper body injury against Philadelphia?
Yeah,
That
that
dude
was
gets
brutal.
double teamed all the time. All he feels is slashes around his arms, up by his head, up by his shoulders. So, you know,
And the refs need to call that stuff.
you weren't really surprised when you saw him on the injury report as questionable going into this game.
Yeah, that scared me because I mean, who else do you turn to? But again, like we said, the depth has really done it, and that's it. That I like that pick very much.
And
so,
also, we did this without Brad McCulley being very active on the score sheet. Like that's even more scary. He's our number one depth guy, like 100%. And he's gonna be that Ryan Benesh character that has that lefty shot that scores 4 or 5 goals a night, and he will eventually become that. And he's been that go-to guy since Byrne went out. So to see him not be able to score and us still winning is absolutely scary, and we're gonna put this league on notice if we haven't already.
Right, and I believe that at the fact too, when it scared us too, when he looked like he was limping too during the game, I'm going, oh Jesus, this is not going to.
He had a lower body or a knee injury, but he came back in that second half, and we were all thanking everyone that he was coming back.
I was like, thank God.
I'm like, who do you have left?
We don't need to lose McCulley now. I mean, he's doing great.
I mean, who do you have left at that point if he goes out?
Yeah, well, you got to rely on the transition guys. Dalton Solver would be your next guy up.
He would have to do some double shifting then, man.
Kind of like how McKay was. And you know what? Going to my go-to guy for that game is got to be number 4, Ian McKay.
That dude's an absolute beast.
Dude, he has played every position possible on this league or this team. Defensively, transition, and scoring as a forward. He does it all, and he's proven it time and time again. He could be the next stud, or like I said, he could be like the next Mark Stainhouse, who scores at will when they need him to.
From wherever. I mean, this dude shoots from the restraining line. He shoots down low and finds the net every time. Very Mark Stainhouse-esque.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
But
just unbelievable how well he's played this year. Unbelievable. Give the guy the ball more. Let him shoot. Let him shoot.
yeah, and he's a playmaker too. He always finds the open guy in front of the net, no matter how many people are in coverage. It's Quattro, man, dude, you're a beast. Ian McKay is an
You're
absolute
definitely a
monster.
workhorse of this team. I'll tell you that right now.
And then
God, man,
if not for those
unbelievable.
forwards, I gotta go with Matt Vince. Matt Vince is
Yes,
also
I
one of the
agree.
players of the game too. I don't know if he was given a star of the game, but if he didn't, he really should have.
I don't know what you do. Did they say the 3 stars of the game on the screen here,
They
or
said
no?
it
For
on the
the
they said it on the TSN broadcast, but I can't remember for the life of me who if he was on there.
okay,
But he made oh man, he's led in sub
43
10
saves,
goal,
unreal.
43 saves at 40 years old against a flashy team, not really established right now. They really don't have an
Mhm.
identity, but a team that could get hot at times in the Halifax Thunderbirds, a team that could give us a run for our money. It's always close when we play them, it seems like.
Every
Um,
time.
outside the New Year's Eve game, I think they were
Hmm.
leading for a lot of that game. And then the Bandits in that third quarter really just turned it
Just
on and won that game 18-13, kind of took the game back in the second half. But
yep.
good things coming for the Bandits because you know what? Next week we host the same exact team. We have a home and home series against a little mini home and home series against the Halifax Thunderbirds. That's coming up this Friday, March 10th.
Yep.
And then we host the Colorado Mammoth. So we have a couple different home games here. We have
Hmm.
a short 2-week homestand where hopefully we can climb up in the standings and get a little bit ahead of the Rochester Nighthawks and the Toronto Rock.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the next 2 games are going to be huge for Buffalo, especially being at home and getting some firepower back. I mean, obviously, the word on the street is that Chase Fraser is going to be ready to go for this March 10th game on Friday night coming up. And
Yep.
I'm hoping he's ready to roll because he's got some shoes to fill, too. If the same guys are still going to be out, like Byrne, Cloutier,
I want to
Brandon
see some more
Robinson's
out of
out. So
Kozevnikov. I want to see more out of
it would be
Kozevnikov
great to
too.
see that kid play more.
Yeah.
Seriously. We'll see what he can do. But it all comes down to our captain, not Steve Priolo, but our head coach, John Tavares, to decide who's going to be playing, who's going to work well with each other. And right now, this whole roster has been working well as a family and as a team.
And they said that Byrne would be back last week. So I'm kind of taking that approach where, oh, you hear Fraser's going to be back. I'll take it with a grain of salt, and then I'll see
Mm-hmm.
how he's feeling on Friday, and then we'll see
Yeah,
what happens. But I don't
absolutely.
know if you saw his Loading Lacrosse. If you follow his page about
Yes, I
lacrosse
do.
called Loading Lacrosse, did you
Mm-hmm.
see that rehab video where he shot the ball from 30 yards out into the top corner and like the little crease of the net, like that big, and somehow got guys? Chase Fraser's accuracy never left. He's been rehabbing that injury for a while, but I can tell you that shot is still there. I mean, he's still got that lethal sidearm top corner type of shot. He's going to be shooting from all different angles. Believe it, right now, Chase Fraser will be back. We really didn't see a lot of production out of him in the finals, but then again, we didn't see a lot of production out of anybody outside of game one. Let's be real on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Chase Fraser will go back to usual form. No need to
Mm-hmm.
worry. Because I've been seeing some Chase Fraser hate after that finals, after the NLL finals, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. This dude's hurt, but he will be back and he's going to be better than ever.
Well, we can't wait to see what 95 can do starting next week and moving forward from here. It all comes down to what he wants to do and what the coaching staff wants him to do. So if he's going to play ball and be a team player like everyone else on the roster, especially being the secondary guy stepping up for those that have been hurt, um, we'll have to wait and see. But until then, Chase, it's your time to shine, buddy.
It's go
Get
time,
out
man.
there and go play your heart out.
And as far as the other injuries are concerned, we will not see Chris Cloutier until probably close to the playoffs.
Correct.
So I wouldn't get your hopes on seeing him in the month of March. You'd probably see him probably April is the earliest.
Yep.
Probably early April will be the earliest. Chase Fraser has a great possibility of playing next week. Josh Byrne,
Yes, sir.
still up in the air, but he was on
Mm-hmm.
injury reserve. But the NLL injury reserve is more like the NHL and not the NFL, meaning that you can get taken off at any point. If
Correct.
you're placed on the NFL injury reserve, you have to miss 4 games mandatory, at least 4 games. So we can see what happens with Josh Byrne. Brandon Robinson, I don't know how severe the injury is, but he played the rest of the game against Philly. He powered through the rest of the game against Philly and missed the Halifax game. So we'll see how severe that injury was, where he suffered it. Maybe he re-aggravated it in practice. He could be back next week too. I wish the NLLs would have better push notifications on injury reports, but maybe as the league
Yeah.
grows on, we'll see more improvements on that. But Well, either way you want to look at it, this team gets depth checks all the time. We're 3-0 in depth games this year,
Yep.
going all the
Unreal.
way back to the beginning of February. And I don't see there's any sign slowing down. I have fully confidence that they're going to
Nope.
win this game this Friday. And then Colorado has been exposed for the frauds that they truly are out west. You can make
Hmm.
the argument the East is really, really good, but some of those
It is.
Western teams, they're starting to rally back behind their boys. Panther City is on a 4-game win streak right now. Saskatchewan is turning it around with Alex Bouquet as their starting
Hmm.
goalie, a very familiar face to the Bandits organization. Calgary is looking good.
Hmm.
Colorado's kind of fallen right now. So we can get a little bit of that sweet revenge against them on March 18th on our homestand and, sort of take advantage of a falling lacrosse club. But I mean, as of right now, I'm fully confident in this team, injured or not. I mean, just wait. I'd rather have them be injured right now than in a game 3 of the finals. And then I'd
Yeah.
rather have everybody healthy then than have everybody injured then and then have all your depth guys try to win you a championship. Get all the injuries away out of the way now. Fight them. Come back
Hmm.
stronger in the playoffs.
Yep. So what do you think, Trevor? What do you think that now the differences between this game and the game we're going to be seeing ahead? That what to expect? Do we see the same kind of game strategy, or do we change it up a little bit now that we got a couple key players coming back?
Well, I feel like you got to change it up a little bit. I think if you stayed the same, Halifax will really start to pick up on that. Considering that they saw you a week prior, I feel like you
Hmm.
always got to stay on your toes and stuff like that. And I know John Tavares runs a lot of decent plays, and he runs some little random plays,
Sure.
backyard lacrosse plays, if you will. Especially running that power play. That power play is looking good for the Bandits right now, and they've been killing off penalties like crazy. Would I want to change something? You would have to change lines for sure, just a little bit,
Hmm.
alter them up, figure out where you put Fraser. I think you got to keep McKay and Fraser on the same line. Either Fraser and McKay or Fraser and Dane Smith. Spread the talent around the entire roster. When a guy is gassed out, you can send another player out there.
Hmm.
Because you got to remember, Brad McCulley really didn't see a lot of starts last year. He was a healthy scratch a lot. He's going to
Hmm.
get the full time reps this year because we know that he can find the back of the net extremely well. And he's going to be finding that on the score sheet. And I mean, bringing guys back like Byrne and Fraser and Kazevnikov, who's only played one game.
One
That his
game.
first game was against Philly, so you'd like to see more from him and get his feet wet a little bit more. I think, of course, you're going to change the style of play a little bit too. Offensively, it seems like the Bandits really take a different approach at the start of every game, where they're more
Hmm.
defensive heavy or they shoot the ball guns and blazing right away and get on the score sheet first. It's going to be interesting to see because that was how we were against Halifax this week. Maybe we switch it up around a little bit and try to play more contained D and then let the offense explode in the second, third, and fourth. But Johnny T's the head coach. He's the mastermind behind this whole thing. So I have full confidence in him because he's proven. I mean, last year I had some question marks around him, especially in some of those playoff games.
Hmm.
Against Toronto, like some of those nail biting close games, like the Toronto game 2 and the Colorado game 1 and game 3. I kind of had some question marks around John Tavares, but I think he's proven a lot of people wrong that, yeah, this team can play from behind. Throw on top of that, like 7 starters are out of the lineup, too. So I have full confidence in whatever he decides to draw up.
Yeah, especially now with this, with the fact of how things are looking right now, and they look bleak. We all feel like when the top starters are out, and it's like, oh God, well, there goes our season. Well, that's you if you want to think that way. But the Bandits have proven it time and time again. Depth is definitely key to win games, and that's
7
what these
games
guys
above
are doing.
500. 7
Guys,
games.
you can't predict this. You can't script it. It's happened, and boy, they made it happen, especially with how Johnny T has led this team with the way he's coached. So
And
we
with
cannot
that win,
doubt.
I mean, even with that win, the Bandits have still extended this streak into not having a losing season since 2018. Because if
Which is
they lose
unbelievable.
out the rest of the way, they're going 9-9. That's not a losing season. But
No,
they they
no.
have they have clinched that again. 2018, I really don't think they had an identity. Stainhouse was
Hmm.
on his way out. We still had Cordingley as the head coach. JT really wasn't in the coaching conversation just yet. You still had some of the players that you were thinking about getting rid of anyway, like Veltman and Benesh and Bill O'Brien and players like that. This
Hmm.
team has an identity. This team absolutely has an identity, and I think they're going to go far. If they get all these guys back healthy and they played half as good as they did last year, this is our cup. But we got to stay on track. We got to take down
One
some of those
game at a
teams in the
time.
West and keep these Eastern Conference teams down. That's why we're pulling for Philly so hard tonight.
Yeah, we want you guys to win. We need you to beat the Rock tonight. Do what you did against New York. Get them
Do what you
19
did.
goals
Do
or
what you did
whatever.
against us, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Come on.
especially, put up a fight. I mean, do some damage or something.
If you do
slow
what you
them
did
down.
against us, you're beating Toronto. I'm telling you that right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well, with that being said, I think what we should do is close this out and say, if you guys all want to follow us on YouTube, our channel is there, Banditland Boulevard, it's called. We have now you can see exactly what we look like.
Yep.
Also, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda. If you want the best beef on wick in town and all your other bar foods necessities, go there. They've got amazing
of course,
food,
the
great
alcohol
services.
drinks. Of course, the alcoholic drinks.
Course.
If you're over 21. Yep.
Don't forget to mention both Trevor and myself. Mention us at the bar, so that would be great to help us out. And also, if you rather listen to us, we are on Spotify.fm.
That's right.
We can't thank you guys enough for listening into our podcast about the Bandits lacrosse and boxways. Guys, we love you. Just keep on listening, keep on watching. We want you guys to be on board. If you guys have any questions, you guys want to jump in on a pregame, postgame episode,
or just
guys,
a random
mid-season
talk.
Anything,
yep.
Anything. Just let us know. Give us a shout on Facebook, on Instagram, anywhere you guys know. Just give us a shout out. We'll be more than happy to look into it.
Absolutely. So I think we just have 3 more words to say for all the people out there, Tony.
Absolutely.
Ready?
Yes.
Let's go Bandits.
Let's freaking go. Let's go.